Hi, and welcome to this video. My name is Wahid Tanner, and I am showing you in this series of videos how to build a 20-foot catamaran sailboat. I'm building this in my garage, and the idea here is to document every step of the way so that you can follow along, whether you're building a sailboat or some other project. I try to go very detailed and show you all the steps, all the mistakes that I make, as well as the lessons that I learn. So hopefully you can get some value out of it as well. So in this video, I show you the finishing the planking of the hull bottoms. There's one behind me right here, and this is standing up on its edge, and there's one that I'm sitting on right here, and these are planked with this cedar strip that I've milled down to about a 1/2 inch thick, and it's cutting scarf joints in it at about an angle that comes out to about a 10:1, so a 1/2 inch thick, so it's about a 5-inch overlap in between these, so that I can join the pieces together to get the full 20-foot long length. So if you're just joining, welcome, and I hope you enjoy the videos. With that, I'll show you the progress so far in this latest video, where I finish putting the cedar planking on the bottom of this last hull. It's time to remove the clamps, and the board clamps that I made have packing tape on them to prevent the epoxy from sticking to it. So let me take this clamp off here at the end. And the whole clamp just came right off at the same time. The clamp was this hand clamp right here, and you can see it came off with absolutely no sticking at all, and that's all due to the packing tape on the bottom here on both sides. There's a little bit of epoxy that I can see right here, but it's not sticking to the boards. And if we take a look at this clamp next to it, if we take this off, loosen that, you can see there's a little bit of a sticking there, but because of the rubber pads, it will just come right off. There's that end off. And this one also will come right out without any problems. So it's time to now remove all the rest of the clamps. So I have the second hull bottom ready for planking, and the first hull bottom is standing up on its side next to it. So the first one is all laid out, and you can see the curve to the first one. Let me go down this way and show you the curve from this direction. I think you can see it better here. So there's a curve down there and up here, and that should be enough to allow it to form to the whole sides. Alright, the first two strips are glued on with epoxy, and the next step is to get all these clamps off and clean it up and proceed with more. There are a total of 8 strips of cedar that will cover the widest part of the hull bottoms from here over to here, and by putting 2 on it first, that means I can do the rest of the planks in sets of 3 and then another 3. I found out from the previous hull bottom that trying to do 4 strips is quite a lot of work with the time of the epoxy before it starts to set. So 3 is a good amount. So by doing 2 here, that avoids the need to do a separate epoxy job with just a single strip. So I think this will work out. We'll do 2 and then 3 and then 3. The other thing is when I did the first hull bottom, the first strip went on this side, and now with this hull bottom, the first strip is coming on this side. And the reason for that is one of the sides of each hull bottom is perfectly straight, and the other side towards the end will curve in a bit. It's a very slight curve, but it does curve in just a bit. So that is this end down here. There's a very slight curve coming in that way. And by doing the first set of strips on this side, I'm starting out with the side that is perfectly straight for most of the length. Of course, both sides will curve in towards the front, but at least this way I can do most of the first strip with a perfectly straight side for reference. So, all right, so that's it. I'm going to get these clamps off, get it cleaned up, and proceed with more of the planking. Okay, I'm ready to put 3 more cedar strips down, and I have them dry fit in here. So the first one is a long piece. It goes all the way down to there. The second one is a bit shorter. It comes to about right here. And the third one is shorter still. And I did this based on the learning from the last hull bottom that I planked, where it was difficult when I had these at just various lengths to get the epoxy laid down, to get the boards clamped down so that the epoxy could cure properly. And the way this will work is I'll be able to put the first piece down, and then the second piece and the third piece. And once I put this third piece down, all of this from the back to right here can then be clamped. And then I can move on to the second step here, where I will then work on this second row, and that's going to actually, no, you know what, this is a long piece. So after I finish that, I'm going to go to back to the first piece, which is right here, and that's going to come down to right here. So I'll be able to get this first row down to here, and then I'll go to the second row, which is a little longer, but not by much. It only goes down to right there, so it's a little bit longer, but that's okay. And then I can go to the third row, which is one long piece from there all the way down to here, and then I'll be able to clamp everything all the way up, almost all the way to the front of the boat right here, and get all this clamped in. And that should give me time to, you know, wipe off any epoxy that is squeezed out. And then it's just a matter, I'll have just 3 more pieces to put in on the front and get all that clamped in. All right, so that's the plan, and I think this should allow the most efficient use of the being able to lay the clamps out from the back of the boat to the front of the boat by trying to plan out where these joints are at. It seems that I can never have enough clamps. So I got the next 3 strips of cedar planking glued on, and quite a few clamps along the way. I used every single clamp that I have all the way down to the end. I'm planning out the last 3 strips for this hull bottom, and I like the way the planning is turning out on this because, all right, so I've got a full-length strip here for the first one to go down, and then the next 2 strips end about here and here. And that means that once I glue these 3 strips down, I'll be able to clamp it and wipe it clean from the end all the way up to here, and I'll be done with this back section. And then after that, I'll put 2 more shorter pieces, which will almost meet the end of the first piece here, which is a full-length strip. These other 2 pieces that I'll put in here will come up to right about here, which means that I'll be able to clamp everything and wipe all the epoxy clean from this point all the way to the back, which is at about the halfway point. So by doing that, I can just stop worrying about the last half of the hull bottom and concentrate on the front part. And then there will be one more shorter piece to go in here, which will take it up to about right here, and then another piece here, which will go almost up to the front, and then a almost full piece here, and then one more piece that I've got down here, which will go on the end here and will take it up. So once I finish clamping everything else down back there, I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 more boards to finish up the entire front section of the keel. So I like the way this is planning out, and yeah, next step is to cut the scarf joints, the angles in here, and then clean everything up, wipe it all down, and start epoxying it in place. All the strip blanking on the bottom of the hulls is now done and cleaned up. You can see the one of the hull bottoms is laying down still on its curved support, and the other one is standing up behind it, and we can follow it all the way down here, follow them both all the way down. The next step is going to be to clean up some of the drips that, especially on the first one, when I was gluing on the strips, I was not wiping down as good as I could, and so I got all these epoxy drips that I need to clear off, because the step after that is going to be to saw off the excess overhang cedar strips. Such as you can see right here, all of this needs to be sawed off so that we follow the shape of the hull bottom. But I think that's going to be in another video. So that'll be finishing up and shaping the hull bottoms. But for this video, I think it's good to show that both of the hull bottoms are now completely covered in cedar strips. Alright, that'll be all for this video. Bye.